Hello there everyone, my name is Nathan Birch and today we're going to be talking about cookies, sessions, and authentication. So, a cookie is a file that contains small pieces of data that are exchanged between a user's computer and a web server to identify specific users and improve their browsing experience. They are stored on the client. They use key-value pairs to store information. Different types, authentication, frequently store information such as a username and password. Anytime data like this is stored in a cookie, it will be hashed, or at least it should be hashed. Okay, because cookies are always stored on the client, anyone can access them. Okay, they're really easy to hack. So any sensitive information, if kept in a cookie on the client, will be hashed. Tracking allows us to track multiple visits to the same site over time. Okay, cookies are used for a lot of different things. Let's see, strings that function as key value pairs. They can track your movements within a site, help you resume where you left off, remember your registered login. If a website allows you to change a theme, cookies can remember that for you. If you think about BYU Idaho, I have to use this Duo mobile thing to sign into BYU Idaho. And if cookies are enabled, then I can stay logged in for 30 days. Okay. When you make a cookie, you can make them with expiration dates up to a few minutes. You know, if I was working for a bank or something, or a few hours or a few years if I wanted to. User preferences and other customization functions. Okay. One other thing that cookies are used a lot for is advertisements. Okay. We see those all the time. Working with cookies. Okay. So right here, I can use set header to set a cookie. And notice right here, I have kind of a key value pair. The key in this case would be logged in and the value would just be true. Okay. Now you can actually view cookies in your browser. Okay. Like we just said, they are on the client, so I could view them here in my browser. So I'm just going to close out of this for a sec, and I'll hit F12 to open up my developer tools. And I'm going to go over to application. Okay, now these are all cookies. All of this data here, okay, this doesn't mean anything to me. There might be a database with these values in it, but I really doubt it. I bet that most of this stuff is hashed information. But these are cookies that Google is using here. Now I could clear it. I could just right click on any one of these and clear it, which would basically delete the cookie. I could also go down here, refresh caches. So I can delete this data. They're just stored on my computer. They're files on my computer that these websites are using. And if I did, I guarantee that I'd have to re-log in to my Google Slides page right here. I wouldn't be logged in anymore because that's where some of that information is stored, is in a cookie, okay? But it is interesting to look at these different cookies and see what's in them. And if you look at different sites to see, you'll see some sites that have hundreds of cookies. They have all sorts of stuff and they're all stored on your computer, lucky you, But if you know how to use your computer and you know how to use whatever browser you're in, then you can view those cookies and take them out or do whatever you want to do with them. All right, I'm gonna close that. So let's see here. How to create cookies. So I just have a very simple example right here, okay? So in this file right here, I made a JavaScript object with just my first and last name in here. And if I wanted to set that as a logged in user, so once a user logs in, I'll go ahead and make a cookie to say that they're logged in. Now, there might be a couple of reasons why I'd want to do this, but websites very frequently check to see if you're logged in or not, okay? Or if you log into a website and you want to stay logged in, you can with cookies, okay? But you can control lots of stuff based on a logged in status of a user. If someone's logged in, then maybe I show them their email message box if I'm logged into Gmail, for example. Or I show a sign out button instead of a logged in and here's your account information button or tag or something. Okay, so once I have this user's object made, I can say red.get set user. So if I go to this URL, then we would go ahead and say res.cookie. I make the cookie name and then whatever bit of data I want to be associated with that name. Now, we were talking earlier about key value pairs. Long story short, this is going to be turned into a string. Cookies are very simple files that are basically strings, okay? But the way that it's stored, I can parse through it. Just like a JSON is a string representation of an object, okay? I can work with this in a very similar way, okay? Res.send user data added to cookie, okay? And so if you want to try doing anything like this, you totally can. I'm not going to work with this very much today. I kind of just wanted to show you the code for how to do it. I can then hit the URL get user and say res.send request.cookies, and it'll show me all the cookies that are there. All right, so if I have a sign up path and a way for someone to sign up, this sign up is really simple. Let me just open up the pages here. So I'm going to views, pages, class activities, week 5, sign up, okay? We just have a simple form, okay? The action is sign up. The method is post. We have an email, a password, confirm password, and then a login to submit my request. Okay, we come here, that sends a post to this URL. Okay, we retrieve that email, password, confirm password, and then in our database we can say customer.findone, and I'll find them by the email. Okay, this works as long as I made sure that their emails were unique when they were making their accounts in whatever system I'm working in. Okay, then after that I say then customer doc, and I say if that's here, then we'll go ahead and redirect to the sign up, hash a password, and then after that we can go ahead and continue. Okay, then we can use a very similar thing when we go to the login page. Okay, a login get, that'll just load up a form, and then a login post is when a user submits that form. Okay, just for your viewing, if I click on that login, okay, just a really simple form right here. Okay, with the path of login, method post, we have email and password, and then we submit that, and it comes into here, and we have that email and password. We'll find whatever user we're talking about. We'll compare the hashed password with our bcrypt tools password here, and then we're able to sign in. Okay. Then we have sign out. We can go ahead and remove that information. Okay, and so that is it for that. Now, let's talk a little bit about sessions. All the cookie information is stored on the client. Sessions are bits of data that are stored on the server to uniquely identify users. They can track any user that uses the site. They allow users to stay logged in. So cookies, we already talked about. Sessions are stored on the server. Sessions can store objects. And when a user closes their browser, they destroy the session. They're more secure, obviously, because they're not on the client. So cookies and sessions, how do we use them together? Why are we talking about both of them along with authentication? Cookies are used to identify the user on the client. Sensitive data will be kept on the server. Session cookies will expire when the browser closes, with hashed information from server to be saved on the client. We always keep sensitive data away from the client. Sessions can store user data, shopping cart info, anything, while cookies are limited to strings. Cookie used to identify session. And so we have this nice relationship here where the session is storing sensitive data, but we can send a session ID up to the client, save it in a cookie, and it keeps the user authenticated while they navigate a website after they've already logged in. And then we don't have to worry about checking it again. Okay, it's really good for performance and for security. And that is a very common way that these two are used in conjunction with each other. Okay. And that is it for today. So I know that I just went really fast through all of that. I hope that it was helpful though, and I hope you guys have a great week.